is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club. How about them Cowboys? This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
Handoff, Elliott plowing to the goal line. Barry, sacked by Lord. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
Here are Mickey Spagnola, Brian Broaddus, Rob Phillips, and Bill Jones.
Happy New Year, y'all. Welcome to Talkin Cowboys inside the SWBC Mortgage Studio. It is a Wednesday that's like a Thursday for your Dallas Cowboys. It's playoff week. Seahawks coming into town Saturday night, AT&T Stadium, wild card round, and we're going to break it all down. Big show today over the next hour. Rob Phillips hosting for Bill Jones, Brian Broaddus and Mickey Spagnola, Kent Garrison hosting. What's up, y'all?
Nasty day out there.
It is a nasty day. I'm sure they'll be inside today.
Yeah. That's what you got this facility for, so you can go inside and practice.
Bit of rough weather today.
Yeah. If you were playing in Seattle, you might go outside and practice.
This is Seattle weather.
Yeah, this is if they were going up there, you might want to give it a go.
5 degrees cooler, and we might not all be here right now.
Nah, Mickey, you got to find a way to make it.
Oh,
here, don't you?
we would have made it, but
Yeah.
I don't
David
know if anybody else would have.
Hellman wouldn't have made it. We had this discussion.
Calling out Dave from 5 years ago.
Remember that time we got that email from Valley Ranch?
I wasn't here.
You weren't here for that one? Mm-mm. They said if you can't make it in, don't show up. Dave was the only one that didn't show up. The rest of us were sitting there. We took a picture around his desk. But he said, no, it's playoff games. I got to make it here, you know? So
you got to find a way this week,
yeah,
right?
You got to find a way to win.
Well, we'll find out tomorrow.
I'll be here.
Is it going to be bad?
It's supposed to snow overnight.
Ooh.
I'm kind of looking forward. We got a big concrete area out here between the practice field and the building. Everybody bring their hockey sticks tomorrow. Let's see if we can get a little game going.
Is this really supposed to go down?
You know what? I've been here all my life. No.
You know, 1 year.
The Super Bowl was the only time it was Armageddon around here. And every one of my friends from out of town would go, like this all the time here? And then Super Bowl Sunday rolled in. It was like 60. It was a gorgeous day.
Yeah.
You know, but big hunks of ice all over and my friends are all, is this what it's like in Dallas all the time? And it was just like a once in a lifetime.
I've never seen it like that in 30 years.
Yeah. And I've lived there all my life. Never have experienced. 1980 was pretty bad, but here I got drawn into weather talk.
10 or 15 years ago when it snowed and it iced the street in front of our house, the whole neighborhood, as a matter of fact, we got our hockey sticks out.
Yeah, that's what you got to do.
And got the puck out and kind of played going down the street, and a couple people had their garbage cans overturned, and they were open, so we're taking shots into the garbage can. Yeah,
that's what you do. You get the hockey sticks out, and you fall down a bunch, hurt yourself.
You know, we used to do. There's a commercial on TV now. We used to do that when we were kids in front of the house. When the street would kind of freeze over and it'd be snow and packed. Yeah, we had nets, and we would go out and put the nets underneath the lights, and we'd go out and play and make the cars go around us.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That sounds typical Mickey.
Yeah.
Don't mind us.
Don't get in my way.
About traffic.
It's 3-2 right now. We can't stop.
All right. Well,
we know playoff game here.
Yeah, we know the conditions inside Saturday will most likely be domed, comfortable,
72 and dry.
Yeah, exactly. So let's spend the next hour just breaking this game down. Okay. Mm-hmm. Let's start with the injury front. What the Cowboys look like this week, Mick. Had their first practice of the week on Tuesday, which is a little odd, and they got 2 more to go.
And here's the practice report, and looks like only 2 guys didn't practice. Shocking, David Irving still out, and Xavier Su'a-Filo missed with the ankle that he sprained. I think they were still somewhat hopeful that he'd be ready, but if not, Connor Williams returns to his starting left guard spot that he once owned, and they went about their business. And I think probably the best news was Tyrone Crawford, who suffered the neck injury against Tampa Bay, right, was back out there. And while the team was in shells when they kind of did their early part of practice, the offensive linemen and the tight ends were in pads. And he went over there, and he was with 78, backup offensive lineman.
Practice squad
Guy. Anyway, they had the pads on, and they were going at it kind of like a pass rush drill and hitting to let him see what it felt like with the pads on, and he also had one of those neck brace things on. And he seemed to do fine, and when he finished, he took the pads off and ran over to where the defensive linemen were and worked out. So he seemed pretty optimistic that he'd be ready to go, and that certainly would help out to have a veteran guy, because they don't have a lot of veteran guys with much playoff experience on this team. And everybody else, Tavon Austin, Sean Lee, Zach Martin, Tyrone Smith, they're out there. And Zeke looks like he's ready to play a game, by the way.
Yeah.
That's what he said, right?
He might be one of those guys that they got to tie down, and it's like, not yet, not yet, not yet. And
he said, my body feels fresh enough to play a game right now if I had to. Usually it takes him till about the weekend.
Yeah.
To feel like he's recovered from the previous game. But obviously, winning the rushing title without playing a snap, you can't get any better than that last week, right?
381 touches for the season so far. Yeah, that worked out just fine, didn't it? They held Saquon Barkley to less than 236 yards.
Yeah.
Hell of a deal.
That's what you got to do.
And actually, if not for one run, they really
41
shut him
yards
down,
41 yards or something like that.
Yeah.
The different challenge, by the way, with Chris Carson this week. That'll be remember Chris Carson from the week 3 matchup that he had 100 yards rushing, but he had like 36 carries. Mm-hmm. It was one of those things where he was, but they were committed to trying to say, okay, dirty runs are good runs here. But if you look at his last 3 games, though, he's averaged right around 119 yards a carry. That'll be a tough matchup for the Cowboys to have to deal with. Cowboys played really good run defense all year, and this guy makes their play action game go. He really, really does, and that's where I think that if the Cowboys can make that Russell Wilson, make him a little bit of a one-dimensional, because they're going to try and play action you to death. They will boot, waggles, anything to get him on the move to throw the football. But Chris Carson's a big, big part of that. So you start talking about playing run defense, it's going to be they use a lot of runners, but Chris Carson is the main runner that they use.
And since they leaked that run in the game against the Giants, it gives Rod Marinelli something to chew on this week.
Yeah, no doubt.
And continue to remind them that they've got to stop the run. And a lot of their running, obviously, Russell Wilson holding on to the ball and creates problems. He had 32 carries for 102 yards, I think I just saw in that first
Chris
game.
Carson.
Yeah, and they rushed for 118.
Right.
They were just consistent with it. They weren't really productive with it.
They had 32 carries.
Yeah, it was the highest number of carries he's had all season. And so they were doing just enough to run the ball. They were coming off a game. I want to say this was a Monday night game. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did they play the Chicago Bears?
Week 2, they lost
to the Bears, right? And the Bears really just physically beat them up front. Russell Wilson took a beating in that game, and so they were coming off a game where they were just trying to protect Russell Wilson. Brian Schottenheimer, the defensive coordinator, has done a really nice job. Early in the season, they really weren't on the same page. They just weren't. Bevel, Darrell Bevel, the former OC there, he had a good rapport with Russell Wilson, and then Brian Schottenheimer came in. They just really couldn't get things going early. Took a loss very early in the season, a couple losses, and then the Bears loss. That there was a lot of question marks about their team, and could they protect? Could they run the ball? They were dealing with some injuries there, But they've really righted the ship when it comes now to what they're doing. I mean, running the football is next to the Cowboys. That's probably the most important team, as far as team in the league, is a running game and how it makes a difference for how they play offense.
They had 38 rushing attempts in their first 2 games.
Yeah.
Lost both games.
Right.
And then they decided our identity is going to be running the football.
Right.
And they've almost averaged that per game, and over 35 carries in the last 14 games. And what's interesting about their offense is Some people might say it's kind of archaic, you run first in this league, but they're putting up almost 27 points a game with that. And they use it to build the big play off of it because Russell Wilson is always a threat to do that, and that's kind of what happened in the first game.
No question.
Run, and all of a sudden you take a deep shot to lock it down the field. And he's had a great season for that.
I mean, they ran it 39 times against the Cowboys for 118 yards, so they didn't even average 4 yards a carry. But they were persistent.
Got it done.
And caused the Cowboys some problems, and I don't know if the running caused those two touchdown passes that were busted coverages.
Busted coverages,
but
bad.
We're talking a young secondary, and they blew a couple coverages. This team kind of mirrors what the Cowboys did because they were after 9 games sitting there at 4-5.
Right. Yeah,
they've had to grind too.
Oh no, they've won some games. You probably think now the fact they got Kansas City at home. That helps, I mean, that play when they play at that place, we all know that. We all know what it's like to go up there and have to deal with all that, and especially in the playoffs. My gosh, it's just not a great environment to have to go up there and try and win a game at. So, yeah, the teams are very mirrored in the way that they rely on the run. They try and play. I mean, you could go player for player here. They've got a pass rusher. You've got a pass rusher. They've got a quarterback that's probably a little bit better than your quarterback. Your runner's better than their runner. You start going offensive lineman without Travis Frederick being in there. I mean, you could probably go lineman for lineman, and it'd be pretty even.
I was going to ask you kind of where the matchups are weighed between these two teams.
Yes. See, that's where, like I say, I think that there's the concern that we've always had about the ball going down the field with, against this Cowboys secondary. Can the Cowboys secondary, the one big play, the bust that Mick was talking about, you and I watched it, Rob. Remember, it was Kayvon Frazier was in the game at the time, and he got sucked up inside, and then it allowed that hole for Wilson to throw the ball right in there. So, yeah, I mean, they can't – They haven't given up big plays. That's the one thing. I mean, even the game the other day, we thought the ball was going to go down the field. The plays the guys made were incredible one-handed catches, but some of them that were too far. I mean, they were in good coverage. I just think you have to worry about the run, the play action, the run, and then the deep shot. Because they'll lull you to sleep with that, and all of a sudden the ball go flying down the field on you, and you got to be ready to run with Lockett and Doug Baldwin and Moore and those guys, because those guys have the ability to get down the field and make plays.
And that's what happened when they beat Kansas City.
Yeah.
It was a bunch of deep throws down the field that they made these highlight catches against.
Yeah.
You wouldn't say, okay, that ball's thrown away. And Baldwin goes up and grabs the ball against the Chiefs, and they ended up scoring 38 points against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So, they won 6 of their last 7. The Cowboys won 7 of their last 8. So it's going to be a neat collision, by the way.
Yeah.
You mentioned the young secondary with this team. Where do you think they've grown? Maybe since that game.
I think they've made fewer busted coverage mistakes, for one. I think they've attacked the ball a lot better. Remember, when they played that game, Xavier Woods was starting his 3rd game.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go there.
And think about
he missed the first 2 games of the season, so that was his debut.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that was his first one.
Yeah.
So think about that. Think about Byron Jones. That was just his 3rd at corner since his rookie year. Remember Xavier Woods? I'm not Woods. Chidobe Awuzie. He only had started like 4 games last year.
Sure.
Now he's at corner. And what happened that Frazier did Heath get hurt for a while? And Frazier had to go in the game?
I think there was like a collision that, if I remember correctly, there was a collision that Heath had to go out of the game for that.
Yeah.
Got nicked up there.
For a play or two.
Yeah.
And that's why Frazier
went in the game, right?
Was in there. So that was a pretty young secondary out there. And Antoine Woods playing in the middle, right? Yeah. He hadn't played that much in the NFL prior to those games. So, this team kind of grew. Randy Gregory's playing football for the first time in 2 years.
Remember Leighton Vander Esch as well. That, Sean Lee was in there for, he was the starter along with Jalen. And Jalen Smith, I don't think Jalen Smith was completely healthy. I think as the season's gone along, that he's become more confident, become more healthy, and that's so. Yeah, this is really a different deep. It's different from the Seattle's perspective of how they're playing. I mean, they're going to have no Earl Thomas in this game. Bradley McDougall has done a pretty nice job. Thompson has done a nice job for them as far as they've kind of had to. They're getting him back. He's been nicked up a little bit, but overall, I mean, the safety play has been good. The corner play has been good for them too, and they've got two really good linebackers. When you talk about Bobby Wagner and KJ Wright, I mean, it's like the Cowboys. Again, you could go player for player and say, okay, wash. Okay, they got an advantage. Okay, you've got an advantage. The team is very, very, both teams are very similar. I think if you looked overall, you would say, I'll take the Dallas's defensive line, the front four, over what Seattle has. But, linebackers, you could say, wow, okay, like I said, is you take Jalen Smith, but you take Van Der Esch over Wagner and Wright. I mean, it's maybe the Seattle secondary when you think about Griffin and Flowers playing corner. Okay, well, is that a good matchup? Would you take Awuzie and Jones? I mean, you obviously would take Jones, but there's a side of me that says that Griffin is just as good as Awuzie and Flowers. And that might be a wash right there. So it is. It's as even as you're going to get in a matchup for two teams in the playoffs.
And while it looks like Thompson's coming back.
Yeah, he is.
They're putting Delano Hill, who had taken his spot, on IR.
Yeah.
So, and by golly, they don't have the NFC Offensive Player of the Week on their team either.
No, they don't, Mick. Who is that?
Some guy named Blake Jarwin.
It's incredible.
I think his number's 89.
Yeah.
I'll guarantee you when Seattle starts looking at film, they're going to know 89, but they're not going to know his name.
Well, I watched back the first game yesterday, and I looked up his snap count at Seattle, 12 plays. One target, and it was at the end. It was the juggle play where
contested play.
We looked at it, and he really didn't have a chance at it. Yeah. And Earl Thomas got that pick and sealed the game and bowed to the crowd. And all of a sudden, maybe it's a new dimension for the Cowboys. Maybe especially in the red zone. Maybe it's another guy that defenses have to think about down there.
Well, if not, they're going to have to practice for it. They're going to have to spend some time worrying about the tight end this week,
or not play cover 2 down there.
Yeah. And get lost in cover 2.
Yeah. He's done it, but I was talking.
But you know what? He was in cover 2, and I can't remember which of the 3. He had so many touchdowns, I can't. He had the one where he veered away from where the coverage was, and he found the open spot.
Right.
And it's like, look at that.
Yeah.
So we found out that he had to go back to Billy Joe Dupree for the last tight end to catch 3 touchdown passes in a game. I wonder if they've ever had an undrafted rookie, he's a first-year player, but an undrafted guy catch 3 touchdowns like that as a I guess probably not as a tight end, right?
Not as a tight end.
Because if you have to go back to Billy Joe Dupree, that's 73.
Yeah. Michigan State, right? Michigan State. Yeah, I was thinking. To me, it's a great story. I was visiting, somebody was on their way home, stopped by, was in our area, and the guy stopped by and was talking. We were talking about the tight end play, and he goes, it's funny about Jarwin. He goes, there's a lot of times where Jarwin has been open. He has been open, and there's been no confidence in getting him the ball. There's none of that. But he's made some plays the last couple of weeks. And now it's kind of like, okay, throw him the ball, allow him to do some things that he's capable of doing. And the guy was like, he was open. I've been watching him. He's been getting open, but it's just not, we're just not seeing the results of him getting open. It's a little bit like Cole Beasley. You see Cole Beasley get open, they just don't throw him the ball, and that happens to some guys. I mean, I got in a discussion with a guy yesterday about Amari Cooper. And I'm thinking, how different would Amari Cooper's game been if they'd hit the 2 sluggos,
right,
and 2 touchdowns? He'd had over 100 yards in receptions.
But the narrative is that his production has dropped.
Yeah, he would have had 7 catches, 2 touchdowns, and 100 yards, and we would all said, Amari Cooper's back. But sometimes you run really good routes and the quarterback doesn't find you, or he misses you, or that these are things when you start to say, okay, what's wrong with this guy? Maybe, like I say, with Blake Jarwin now, maybe there is that confidence that, okay, I could throw it to him down the middle of the field and he's going to make a play.
Yeah, because he's doing a better job of finishing plays himself.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's had
like
a drop,
holding on to the ball.
Yeah, he's had some drops.
Yeah,
or not getting hit and having the ball come out.
Yeah.
And a little bit of that narrative on him not getting the ball thrown to him. I can't remember which. It was one of the last 3 games. Kurt Warner did a diagram deal and showed how he was open across the middle and Dak chose to go underneath.
Right.
And it's like, okay, that's easy when you're watching the all-22.
Right.
You don't know what the quarterback sees or what he was expecting. But I'll tell you what, on those deep balls to Cooper, it doesn't matter that they didn't hit, because Seattle's got to look at that and go, okay, we can't take the chance that they're going to miss connections on that.
No, there's always going to be the Amari Cooper. I never worry about Amari Cooper having a slump, because Amari Cooper can run routes. No matter what you throw at him, he can run routes. He could separate. He knows how to do that. There's a lot of guys in this league that if they have 2 or 3 good games and teams figure out how to stop them, they don't have an answer for how to run a route to get open. Mm-hmm. Now, I could see Amari getting a little frustrated. I mean, he runs 2 really good sluggos, the slant and goes, and is open. But you got to think about what's happened in the pocket. The second throw at the end of the game I was talking about looked like that Redmond stepped on or brushed Dak's front foot as he's throwing the ball. So, there's a lot of things that go into the pocket being clean, what the quarterback sees. But as long as these guys are running routes to where they're getting open, Blake Jarwin, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, Cole Beasley, my confidence level is high that this team can move the football. It's when they get shut down. And I think Todd Archer asked the question yesterday that they've had 1 touchdown drive in the last 3 times that they've played.
Yeah. I was going to go there after the break. You want to hold it there?
Absolutely.
Because there is not great history against this team in the regular season last few years. Is there any commonality there? Let's talk about that when we come back on Talkin' Cowboys.
Essilor has been helping Cowboys fans see better since 1972 so they don't miss a moment on the field. Get glasses with Essilor's best vision, clarity, and protection with the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package. 3 innovative technologies in 1 lens. For a limited time, you can double your lenses for free when you purchase the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package and get a second pair of frames. Find a participating eye care professional and details by visiting EssilorUSA.com. That's EssilorUSA.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Do you want the most interesting, up-to-the-minute Dallas Cowboys news straight from the Star in Frisco? How about exclusive and on command? That's right, news and nuggets you can't find anywhere else. With our exclusive Cowboys content on Alexa, you can have all the answers, secrets, stories, and more. What's Stephen Jones thinking during a game? What's Joe Looney's favorite pregame meal? We take your questions to Cowboys players and coaches, and you can hear the answers directly back to you. Just say, Alexa, open Dallas Cowboys.
If you're like me and you love... if you have a thing, then cutting the cord is scary. But then I found out I could switch to DirecTV Now and still get the live sports I love. No satellite needed, no bulky hardware, no annual contract, just...
Get the live sports you love. Try DirecTV Now for $10 a month for 3 months. Visit DirecTVNow.com. DirecTV Now. More for your thing. That's our thing. Use code REALDEAL. Limited time. Price for little package. After 3 months, renews monthly at full price. Currently minimum $40 unless canceled. Prices may change. New subscribers only. Cancel anytime. Content varies by package and may be limited. Restrictions apply.
A man's Stetson doesn't just protect him from life's elements. It projects an unstoppable and legendary spirit, just like the men wearing silver and navy on the field every Sunday. Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. They are still the official crown of all self-respecting Cowboys. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find Stetson hats in the Pro Shop or at Stetson.com today.
Dr. Pepper is the one you crave. But how do you explain that craving?
Imagine being shipwrecked on a desert island, alone. Glass-like curls of surf pound the shore with Dr. Pepper-colored waves. Surrounded by desire, but you can't drink it because it's the ocean. Fish live in there. The only thing you want is Dr. Pepper, and you can't have it.
Now that is a Dr. Pepper craving. Dr. Pepper, the one you crave.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Tommy John gives you the feeling of freedom where it counts with a contour pouch that nestles the boys. With over 3 million pairs sold, we've put the hustle to make sure you're nestled. Shop exclusive Cowboys underwear at TommyJohn.com/Cowboys.
All right, Mick. And the Cowboys will take on the Seattle Seahawks Saturday, January 5th at 7:15 p.m. Central in the wild card round of the playoffs. If you're coming to AT&T Stadium to cheer on the Cowboys Saturday night, be sure to wear white to white out at AT&T Stadium. A limited number of tickets are available now at DallasCowboys.com. All right.
That comma still has to come out of there.
Okay. Thank you for that inside joke that no one understands.
I would have never known that.
Yeah. You learn something new every day, right?
I know.
Back inside the SWBC Mortgage Studio. By the way, 888-855-2297 is the number if you would like to join us.
Where's your Aggie shirt? Got LSU on over there.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't win the national championship. Brian wears his all the time. He's got more school pride than I do.
Mickey has
I
stocking
wear mine
cap
all the time.
Stocking cap on today.
Stocking cap on today.
Yeah.
Just real quick, I don't want to devolve into college football talk, but you guys put to rest the Cinderella talk. I think that's over now. So,
well,
we got an answer, and I'm glad we have an answer.
Gritting their teeth though to the very last second.
You know what? Put up 40 points.
You know what's hard about that though? They about killed our quarterback. We needed a spatula to get him off the field.
Yeah, that was kind of scary.
That guy's so tough. The thing about LSU had lost. I mean, it had so many defenders down, gone, whatever, however you want to say. But really, if you look at Central Florida, them losing that quarterback hurt them.
It really did.
That it's hard to play football when your quarterback is not capable of playing well, and their quarterback didn't play well. Yeah, and I'm from the school of I don't care, because if you're playing my team and you're losing guys, I don't care. I'm okay with that. But
yeah, how many guys did you all have ejected?
Yeah, no, ejected, going to the pros, whatever, sitting out for targeting, whatever. But yeah, I was proud of LSU for the way they played yesterday.
All right, diving back into Cowboys and Hawks. You brought up a good point and a question I think Todd Archer brought up in the press conference yesterday. They haven't had a lot of success against Seattle the last few years and haven't had a lot of success offensively specifically.
Right.
They played each other last year on New Year's Eve, I believe. That was Zeke's first game back from suspension, and they only put up 12 points. I don't think they scored a touchdown in that game. What was it? How many touchdowns is it in the last few meetings?
It's one. Yeah.
So,
but
again,
the guys that played in those other two games aren't the ones playing.
2015,
yeah.
Not only did Tony Romo not play, Dak Prescott didn't play, Zeke didn't play.
Who was the quarterback?
I throw that. I think it was Whedon, right? Right?
Was it that early in the season?
Or was that Castle? I don't know. It doesn't matter. I guess you could look at the last two games, the one earlier this season and the one last year, and try to figure out what Seattle is doing to limit them, especially because Zeke played in both those games.
Yeah, but he hadn't played in 6 weeks.
Well, I remember when he was coming back, it was, he's fresh, and they're going to win this game and go to the playoffs.
Yeah, it was that was the narrative. I think that we talk about this, though, when you look at these two teams, it's really about how even they are, how evenly matched they are. Seattle, of course, is going to present some problems. I don't think Seattle is once the team that it once was. That sounds funny the way I said it, but you look at the secondary with the Richard Shermans and the Cam Chancellors and the Earl Thomases and all those guys are all now gone. I mean, you still have the stalwarts of KJ Wright and Wagner and those guys. I mean, this defensive line, I think playing at that stadium is an incredible advantage for them rushing the passer. I'll be real interested to see if they have the same success. If Frank Clark and Deion Jordan and Jacob Martin and those guys have the same success rushing the passer, because it's clearly an advantage to them. I think Mickey was going through the thing that they've struggled on the road a little this year, haven't they, Mickey?
Yeah.
And that where their losses have come with the Rams. They lost at Denver. Where else did they beat Carolina? Was that game played at Carolina though?
It was.
Okay.
They lost
by 3.
Yeah.
They
lost
won.
at San Francisco.
At San Francisco.
A few weeks ago.
Yeah. So they've had it's really two mirrored teams. And I think Mickey's right on this one. I think that the players you have now are different. I think Amari Cooper this time around makes a big difference for you. Cole Beasley seems to be getting back into form. Early in the year he was, and then you got Amari and things kind of went away. But, and hey, I personally, I think if Connor Williams has to play, that's not going to be a detriment. Where in week 3, it was a detriment. Mm-hmm. I think Connor Williams now better understands what he needs to do to play in these games and how to survive these games and how to, it's not easy. He had some games where he was struggling with his technique and his power and now it's like, okay, if I'm not strong enough, this is how I have to play.
I was going to ask you that because
Joe Looney at center. Think about all the things that they've kind of gone through now to get to this point that they didn't have to do the first time they played.
Because it's interesting. We got a mailbag question about Connor Williams today, and he's playing better since he's been back on the right side, which he has no experience playing at. And it's not like he came back off the knee scope and all of a sudden got a ton stronger. So it's technique in terms of, I don't know, leverage, all those things.
Yeah, I mean, I want to still play with Suafilo there at the left guard spot.
Because when he's been healthy, he's been solid.
Yes.
Yeah, he didn't play great, Mick. One of those games, I think it might have been the Saints game, and he had the ankle then.
Yeah.
But when he's been healthy, he's added some power and strength, I think, into that lineup.
Yeah, and I think he added a little bit of understanding of guys getting
starting
passed off and just experience, right? I mean, this guy he should have been playing last night in the Sugar Bowl.
See, this is where
think about that.
This is going to sound funny to say, but I feel like though, if you keep continuity at guard next to Terrence Smith's a better player. And I know you're talking about a guy that's an All-Pro player, a Pro Bowl player, but when you get in these type of games where you're having, like Mickey said, you're having to pass stunts, and this is a team that's going to twist your front. They're gonna move. They're not strong enough to play toe-to-toe with you. They're going to try and move. They're going to try and get you off balance. They're going to bring linebackers. They're going to test you in every way they can with your scheme and your protection. And what I want to do is I'd like to see them keep things consistent for Tyron Smith. I think Tyron Smith struggles more with a new guy next to him than anybody else in that offensive line.
Why do you think that is?
I think I've got this vision of a couple plays.
Yeah.
And he ends up being hesitant, like, am I trusting him to do this? And then he doesn't take care of that, what he's supposed to take care of.
Tyron Smith is a natural football player. When things are like, okay, my guy. He's one of those guys. Okay, I'm kicking Frank Clark. He's my guy. And now all of a sudden they twist the front. They're like, okay, I'm passing my guy. Are you going to be there? Are you ready for my guy? Well, I'm going to take your guy. And you'll see them. They'll man a lot of stunts too, just because that's technique-wise, that's what they'll do. But I think that he's the one guy that struggles the most. And I don't mean struggling like he's getting like he's Chaz Green struggling. I mean he just struggles with that in his mind, thinking, okay, I've got to block this guy, or I've got to pass this guy, or that guy's not going to be on the backside cutoff. I've got to get that. It just, those are the things I just think with Sue, and they've had a great combination with him and Suafilo in there. Suafilo is not great, but you have to run over Suafilo to get to the ball. And that's in a big body. When you have to run over a big body, sometimes you don't always get there. And I think that Tyron Smith has really grown comfortable with Suafilo playing inside of him. It's kind of like what he did with him and Ron Leary were a great combination together. Because he trusted Ron Leary, that Ron was not, if something happened to him, that Ron was going to be there to pick up the pieces. I didn't know if he really trusted Connor Williams to do that, the rookie and all that.
And that's what they had problems against the Colts.
Yeah.
Because the Colts wanted to move. I was told before the game, this is what they're going to do.
Oh, sure.
Now, are we good enough to pick up all the little stunts, and they're going to move on us? And they weren't.
Yeah.
So
it could happen. It could happen against Seattle too.
Yeah,
that's the nightmare about playing these guys, especially if they get you in a situation where they're having to where they get to rush the passer. You know, where teams where they've had some problems when you watch teams run the ball. We talk about get them moving one way and then go the ball back the other way. Teams have had success getting them to go one way and like the counters and things like that, where they pull linemen. If you watch the Kansas City game, Kansas City's are really good with their running attack the way it is, and it used to be even better before that guy got suspended. But Kansas City pulls the center, they pull the guards, they pull the tackle, they'll pull a tight end. You know, they'll do a lot of things to kind of create angle blocks, down blocks, and then get guys on the edge. This is a game plan if you're the Cowboys and you're thinking about, you know, Joe Looney getting out front, Martin getting out front. Now, maybe not Suafilo as much. Williams is a surely get out front guy.
Yep.
But this is where I have a feeling what you're going to see the Cowboys try and do is get the ball on the edge. You know, get the ball with Ezekiel. Start it one way and then get the flow and then trap everybody to the inside and then get guys on the edge and then make their linebackers have to run. Their linebackers are capable, but if you get them flowing one way and then now get up on top of them, second level, then you could get the ball out to the outside.
By the way, I don't think Tyrone Smith, he played one series last Christmas Eve in that game. He had the back thing and then he exited.
Yeah.
But, you know, you talked about he needs some consistency. He's had a lot of different left guards he's been playing with.
That's the problem.
I mean, it's been Jonathan Cooper last year, Lyle Collins before he moved to tackle, a couple different guys this year. It's been an adjustment for him.
Byron Bell.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, Redmond. I mean, he's had to deal with some guys. I mean, there's no question. This is one of those things where the Cowboys have had some success over the years because it's been generally the same five guys. Even when Doug Free was playing right tackle, it's kind of the same guys.
Shaz Green played a little guard.
Yeah, a couple times.
That's right.
Started the season last year.
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. All right.
Tyrone Smith's a great player. The problem is, though, Tyrone Smith, I don't know his confidence factor with, you know, he won't admit it. You know, he wouldn't, but deep down in his heart, he has to think, okay, I'm going to pass this guy to Connor Williams. I hope he's there. I hope he's ready, you know. Whereas before, you just pass guys. You don't even think. You just pass them. You know? And
one other thing about difference with this Cowboys offense in the previous two games, obviously, Amari Cooper brings a different dimension.
Yeah.
Week 3, they were trying to sort out just snaps, rotation with their wide receivers. It didn't work.
The committee.
Yeah, it didn't work.
Yeah.
And that's why he's here. And so I think that's something you got to keep in mind. This is a guy that and what you're seeing is he's making things easier for other guys too. Michael Gallup, Cole Beasley,
no question.
They're showing up. Like
Alan Hearns.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alan Hearns had a big catch in the game the other day.
Alan Hearns. That's what I'm saying. You know, and to me, the quarterback's better. The quarterback has been better because of this. You know, the quarterback in week 3, you know, I think the quarterback's playing really well right now. I mean, you look at the 7 of the last 8 they've won, right?
Yep.
I don't think you could sit there and say that. I mean, the quarterback has had issues at times, but, you know, early this season, the 3-5, more issues then. Now he's playing a lot better.
You look at his quarterback rating earlier, and it was in the low 80s.
Yeah.
He finished at 96.9, and he was less than 1 point away from being better than some guy named Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
They were less than 1 point better than him.
Yeah.
Now, check this out. Who do you think was the leading receiver against Seattle?
Probably one of the backs. Probably Elliott.
Jeff Swain. 5
Wow.
catches for 47 yards.
Yeah.
Beasley had 3 for 46. Elliott, 3 for 11.
Yeah.
Austin, 3 for 2. Some guy named Thompson, 2 for 3. Hearns, 2 for 22. Gallup, 1 for 17.
Yeah.
There's your committee.
Yeah. The committee wasn't getting it done.
No.
That's where Mickey made up the point about the committees the other day. Committees aren't good.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just saying, you know, to me, there seems to be a better pattern for them, a better pattern of how they want to distribute the ball. If it's Gallup on the double moves, if it's Cooper on the double moves, if it's Gallup's on the digs, if it's Beasley underneath, if it's a check down to Elliott, oh, wait a minute, they've got Schultz is going to get a waggle for 20. Oh, wait a minute, we could throw a cover 2 beater down the middle of the field with Blake Jarwin. There's more problems for teams to have to deal with. More, okay, if you play this, you're going to have to deal with this. Okay, can you take this away? If the Cowboys line can hold up, they can make plays. We've seen when this guy gets protection, he can make plays.
Yes.
He can make throws. And sometimes even when he rolls out of the pocket, he can make throws. I mean, you're not going to find a better throw than that touchdown pass he had to Beasley. He might not ever have one in his career that's that good.
Especially on the run and going
to his left. Yeah, which he can do.
And have the throw against his body with pressure, by the way.
Yeah. So they're different and you're different. But player for player, you're pretty even with them, and as many problems as you're going to present for them, they're going to present problems for you.
Should be good on Saturday night. Let's take our final break, and we come back. We got one caller holding. Keep holding, Lee. We'll get to you next on Talkin' Cowboys.
If you're like me and you love... if you have a thing, then cutting the cord is scary. But then I found out I could switch to DirecTV Now and still get the live sports I love. No satellite needed, no bulky hardware, no annual contract, just...
Get the live sports you love. Try DirecTV Now for $10 a month for 3 months. Visit DirecTVNow.com. DirecTV Now. More for your thing. That's our thing. Use code REALDEAL. Limited time. Price for little package. After 3 months, renews monthly at full price. Currently minimum $40 unless canceled. Prices may change. New subscribers only. Cancel anytime. Content varies by package and may be limited. Restrictions apply.
It's time for tailgating with the OtterBox boys.
The OtterBox that builds those crazy protective phone cases?
Yup. And now they're changing the side dish game with the OtterBox Trooper Soft Cooler. Lightweight, mobile, and leak-proof, Trooper is perfect for blitzing a crowded parking lot with a Frito pie.
Amazing. Hey, you think I could fit my 7-layer salmon salad into the Trooper cooler?
Yup, but please don't.
And that's been Tailgating with the OtterBox boys. Learn more about the Trooper soft coolers at otterbox.com.
While a player could look good on paper, it's when he's out on the field that you really find out what he's made of. That's why the Cowboys rely on more than just stats and scouting reports when building their team. When picking a tractor, it's why you should rely on more than just specs and features. You've got to take it out and put it to the test. The Cowboys did when they named John Deere their official tractor. Experience one for yourself. Visit myjohndeeredealer.com/football.
It can be hard to find the right resource for learning about important financial matters. You search how to build savings, you end up reading about the one weird ingredient from supermarkets that can make you taller. That's why Bank of America built BetterMoneyHabits.com, a safe little corner of the internet for answering your financial questions. Full of simple videos and tips, Better Money Habits can show you how to make the most of your money without resorting to random searches that always seem to lead to unbelievable photos of childhood stars grown up. To learn more, visit BetterMoneyHabits.com.
Essilor has been helping Cowboys fans see better since 1972 so they don't miss a moment on the field. Get glasses with Essilor's best vision, clarity, and protection with the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package. 3 innovative technologies in one lens. For a limited time, you can double your lenses for free when you purchase the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package and get a second pair of frames. Find a participating eye care professional and details by visiting EssilorUSA.com. That's EssilorUSA.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Have you gotten your Jack Black? Because you're supposed to get Jack Black, and you go to getjackblack.com and get their Playmaker 4 faves that you just can't live without. And when you go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys, that fave will come up, and all you got to do is in the code spot, you put Cowboys, and you get that for $10 with free shipping. Go to getjackblack.com.
Way to go, Mick.
How about that?
How about that?
Take that.
Whoa.
Hey, I'd like to say hello to everybody out on Periscope, by the way.
Yes.
I mean, people reached out to me telling them they're watching us on the Periscope. It's always kind of a different. I don't know much about the Periscope thing.
Does it look the same?
Yeah, it looks the same. It's the same. It's like we got it on the .com stuff and all that, but it's kind of a different medium. And I know Amber and I do it for our thing that we're going to have today. But I know I got some friends that have been texting me saying they're watching the Periscope, enjoying the content. So thank you guys for hanging out with us today.
So are they in like a sub and they put the Periscope up and
Not that kind of Periscope.
Nope.
Not Hunt for Red October.
Good movie, though.
It is.
Look.
Matter of fact, can I tell a real quick story?
Sure.
Coming back, I was doing a scouting trip. I was working with the Jaguars, scouting in Cincinnati, and flying back on a plane, and a guy sees my Super Bowl ring sitting next to me, and he goes, "Hey, what do you do?" I'm like, "Oh, football scout, talking. For like 2 hours, we talk about football. And so we're getting ready to land. I go, "Man, what do you do for a living?" He goes, "Well, I drive a nuclear power attack sub." I go, "What?" He goes, "I'm a submarine pilot. I drive a nuclear power attack sub, USS Nebraska. I'm a pilot." I said, "The last 2 hours I've talked football, and and I haven't talked anything about." He goes, "You know what's funny?" He goes, "I'm underwater for 3 months." He goes, "I'm off 3 months. I'm underwater for 3 months." He goes, "I never get to talk football." He goes, "You don't know how much I appreciate you letting me talk football with you today."
But it's kind of like, who's got the cooler job, man?
He had the far cooler job than
Think
me.
about being underwater for 3 months.
3 months. He says what's funny, they play games. They play hide and seek with submarines. So like they'll be like cruising around and they'll hide behind an ice cap, like down in the hide. They'll just got to wait. And they'll go by, then they'll go behind them. And, but they play. That's what they do. He says we're always preparing for things that can happen. But yeah, he drives a Dallas class USS Nebraska attack sub.
I drive a nuclear power attack sub.
Yeah, I'm thinking like, wait a minute, and then the plane is like coming down. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm asking questions. We got any questions?
Might as well have been next to a guy that flew to the moon.
Yeah, I'd recognize those guys.
There you go.
I recognize those astronauts.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Lee in Atlanta, you still there?
Oh, Lee, I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean to jump on you there.
No problem, guys. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
What's up?
I will be quick. Just real quick, guys. A couple things about kind of in response to what Brian was just saying about the tight ends being open. I think what I've seen this year, and Swain started to do it, is that our tight ends were running in and out of coverage. A lot of Dak's throws that looked like they were behind guys, even the ones Schultz this past Sunday, is because the tight ends weren't sitting down in open areas, like Witten did forever.
Yep.
And so although they may have seemed open, I don't think Dak was seeing them in the same way they were seeing Dak. And I think it's taken pretty much all season to kind of get there. The second thing I saw in this past game in the red zone, which was a great wrinkle, was putting Amari Cooper in the slot. With him in the slot with a two-way go on the inside, that's really going to open up the opposite side tight end, because every time Cooper would run across, that safety would jump right on him, and then our tight ends, no matter who it is going to be wide open. And then when you add Zeke out the backfield from that, I think our red zone woes are covered. And then just one more thing for you guys, Dak is, if you agree with me that Dez Bryant wasn't a number one receiver his last year in Dallas, Dak is 20-6 with a true number one wide receiver. 20-6. Now I'll leave you guys with that. Happy New Year. Go Cowboys.
Thank you.
Thanks for the call. So he's going back a couple years, 16. Yeah. It's interesting. It helps to have a guy that's always open.
Well,
right?
It just helps to have great players.
Yeah.
Anything you can do, and no offense to the receivers by committee, but Cole Beasley was carrying your team as receivers by committee.
And he was productive until Beasley, and he's still been productive at times, less targets, but
yes,
he was doing a nice job in his role before Cooper got here.
I think that there's something to having a guy that, A, can run routes and B, finish. And they had too many guys by the committee that just they could run routes, but could they finish?
Right.
You're putting a lot on Michael Gallup. We're all sitting there saying, play Michael Gallup, play Michael Gallup. You play Michael Gallup because now you got Michael Gallup. That you're thinking, okay, now you got something here. But in week 3 or week 2, you're like thinking, oh, Michael Gallup, he can't get off the jam here, And now you're asking a quarterback to have to throw the ball to a rookie who's not really comfortable with what he's doing. And so I like what the caller's saying there. I think anytime that you can have, I think they learned their lesson. Obviously, they learned their lesson about the receiver by committee, and they said, hey, we've got to do something different here. We got to go get a guy. They went and got a guy. They went and got a number one receiver, a difference maker. As many difference makers as you can get on that field is going to help your team win the football game.
The other thing they resurrected against the Giants is they started lining up Beasley wide. There was a couple plays he was out wide, and we hadn't seen that in a while because it's been Gallup and Cooper, Gallup and Cooper, and he made a good point about moving Cooper into the slot, and you put Beasley outside. Now, what are you going to do?
Well, they did. Another one they got into was what they call 0-1 personnel, which is no backs and one tight end, and they put Austin in a slot and they put Beasley in the slot. And if you remember, it was a third down play. What did they do? They both ran those pivot routes where they go inside and then break outside. Well, it just so happened that they stretched the Giants horizontally, which made a linebacker have to go get over the top of Austin. Well, okay, where's Prescott going to throw the ball? Well, throws the ball to Austin, 10-yard gain, first down, move the sticks.
Which we saw a lot of in training camp.
Yeah.
Until Tavon got hurt.
Exactly.
What happened to the two guys in the slot?
Yeah, see, that's where I think that, again, give me as many playmakers as I can. Put Beasley on the field. Put Austin on the field. Put Gallup on the field. Put Cooper on the field. Hell, put Jarwin on the field. Put as many guys. If protection can hold up, you will find somebody open out of 4 guys. I mean, they're not going to cover them all. No. Somebody will be open.
As long as he's got time.
As long as he's got time.
And they had been blitzing well, so they spread them out with 5 wide.
Yeah.
And at least you can see where the blitz was coming from.
Absolutely.
And then when they were still having trouble with it, it was like, okay, we don't need a running back out there.
Yeah.
Olawale, you just stand there and block, even if it's third down. It wasn't like somebody brought up, they were using the fullback more. No, they were using an extra blocker.
To
pick up the blitzes.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody that they trusted.
Yeah.
Not Darius Jackson.
He got destroyed.
He got
one of the blocks, and it affected the way they threw the ball because he got just destroyed on one. He tried to slide over on a blitz pickup and got just rocked. Mm-hmm. And you're like going, okay, don't need that happen. Don't need a number 26 ending up in the quarterback's lap, trying to throw the ball. That's not good.
You like what Lee was saying about the tight ends too?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
opening things up a little bit.
Yeah, but Garrett, I should have been smart enough to listen, 9 weeks ago, 10 weeks ago, whenever, when he said, whenever, how many games has Swain missed? Has he missed 5, 6, 7 games? How many games has he missed now?
I bet it's about 7.
7 games. 7 games ago, Jason Garrett was telling us in a walk-off, these guys just need experience. They just need experience. They need to play. They need to be out there playing. And I think you're seeing the benefit of that now. Rico Gathers isn't a disaster like he was in training camp. Now you've got Blake Jarwin making plays, making big plays. Dalton Schultz blocking like he did at Stanford. I was waiting all year long. I was thinking, oh heck, well, just throw Dalton Schultz in there and let him block. But it's taken some adjustment for him to have to block.
-6.
Okay, 6 games.
He got hurt against Atlanta.
Yeah, 6. That's right. It was a sideline. They threw it to the end of the game. At the final 2 minutes, the game-winning drive, he got hurt.
And that's a good point about Jarwin or Schultz and blocking. Before Swaim got hurt, he was your best receiving tight end.
Yeah,
he was your best blocking tight end.
Right.
And he, then that's not a surprise. He's by far your most experienced guy too. Yeah. But again, it's just I don't know.
Can I ask you guys a question that was asked to me on Twitter? If you had to draft a position right now for this football team, what would you draft? Because tight end was always one that I kind of had. But if you look at this team, and I know it's not a time to be reflective, but I was just curious because I was struggling. I was still thinking tight end. I was thinking, okay, what's going to happen with Lawrence? In that, are you going to be able to sign Lawrence? Are you? I think you're going to try.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're going to try. But if you could take one position, do you have? I mean, I'm Mickey earlier. We were talking about offensive line, but I don't. I mean, that might be one.
I mean, you're hoping.
See,
Travis Frederick 6 months from now is going to be
exactly.
Doing well.
But I was also thinking, if he's not well, then I'm going to look at Connor Williams at center. Then, is what I'm going to do. Yep. But I couldn't in my mind just immediately. Usually, you could just say that position. I couldn't really think, other than if what happens at defensive end. That's kind of where I was going. But I didn't know. Did you guys have a thought on that?
Tight end had been my first thought.
Tight end was always going to be my first thought.
Yeah.
I still would.
You got one?
I want to say I answered this question recently. And I said the toy running back.
The toy running back, yeah.
Because is
guy
there
at Florida Atlantic.
Is there just a absolute need out there that you're desperate for?
You're not hurting at corner.
That's what I'm saying.
And you got a second-round pick.
Are we misevaluating this team? Let's be careful now. Are we?
Because everything's going well.
Yeah. Because it was 7 of the last 8.
Yep.
7 of the last 8, right?
But your free safety has really come on.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, there's
to the point where I was sitting there. I was beating Mickey up about Earl Thomas.
It's a young team with a lot of young players that have potential and have shown that they can play. It's a pretty nice problem to have. Doesn't mean you can't improve.
Yeah.
Boy, I'm always looking to find more defensive linemen that can rush the passer. Right?
Yeah.
And I want DeMarcus Lawrence back.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
But another pass rusher, maybe some beef inside, another tackle. You can never have enough of those guys.
But by next year, will Randy Gregory be in a starting right defensive end?
Yeah. Okay. What's the contract situation with? Yeah. What's the situation with Crawford?
He's still got years left.
Okay. So Crawford. I mean, I'm still.
What about Gregory?
That's what he was just saying.
They only listed him as a 2 this year.
Yeah. So I think his contract got told.
It rolls over.
Yeah.
So he's got
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
But see, that's what I'm saying though. I couldn't, and I didn't want to. I'm always one of these guys that says, don't misevaluate your team. And then, don't fall in love with your players. Don't think about your team. Think about what you need to do. But it struck me because I couldn't just immediately say tight end, safety. I was thinking, well, okay, what are we doing at defensive end? And those were questions I was kind of in my mind. I was trying to answer.
Okay, Gregory is a restricted free agent in 2020.
Okay, 2 more years.
And then Crawford, unrestricted in 2021.
Okay, he's got years left too.
So,
and there's no reason to cut him. There's no reason to say salary cap cut. He still plays. He still plays well. I think we're all. I don't want to speak for Cowboy Nation out there, but I'm comfortable paying him and playing him. Mm-hmm. I'm not letting people tell me, oh, he didn't have enough sacks. And okay, I don't care.
Yeah, but
Sean Lee might be another question.
You're going to need.
But you've helped yourself there this year.
Yes.
So
yes.
We'll see.
Yeah. And Damian Wilson's unrestricted this coming season.
Well, I will find me.
But you can find that.
I will find me a Damian Wilson.
Right.
It's called Chris Covington. Somebody like that. That's what it's called. Yeah.
That's a good question.
It is a great question.
And we're setting up for the offseason.
I know it's off-season talk, but I don't want to. It was a question that was asked. That usually I can answer questions just bam, bam, bam.
And
that one I couldn't.
Jeff Swain's unrestricted.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe draft a tight end there too.
So maybe at some point, but if you like Schultz and what he's doing and coming along.
Jarwin too.
And Jarwin, you got a
Enrico, who knows?
Bunch.
Who knows?
Beasley's up, right?
Beasley's up.
Tavon's up too.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So you got to see what happens there with those guys. I think it does speak to the fact that it's a young football team that's got a lot of potential past this year.
Right.
That you feel good about a lot of positions because you got a lot of youth guys that are showing growth.
And speaking to my point, Rod Smith's also up this year.
See, this is where too you think about if you can win a couple of games in the playoffs and you get these guys, the young guys, some experience.
Yep.
Not just go to Seattle, not just lose to Seattle like, oh, we've been there a year. Now get them some couple of games where they kind of get a little battle tested. Having to go to New Orleans or go to the Rams, and try and win a game. That's the kind of stuff you need.
I'll continue going back to 91.
Yep.
That team was inexperienced, wasn't supposed to do anything. They won 5 straight, and they beat Chicago in a playoff game, and I think it did wonders. Now, they got wiped out by Detroit, but if you talk to Nate Newton, he'll say when they were on the way back after Detroit, they sat there and said, that will not happen again.
There you go.
It was almost their rallying cry.
Yep.
What happens Saturday night, we'll find out. We'll be back tomorrow to keep breaking it down. Thank you guys for joining us. Thanks to Kent for producing. We'll talk to you Thursday.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?